go ahead and call the meeting to order. Can you call roll, please?
Santola.
Here.
Guerrero.
Here.
Leeper. Here. Oakley.
Here.
Staub.
Here.
Stahl.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
And Mrs. Amber, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any visitors? We have none.
No visitors.
Okay. I have a storm.
Tonight, we'll be trying to do this a while back, and just the scheduling didn't work out, but I have our two high school fall sport coaches here. They're going to come in and talk a little bit about their season and maybe what we can look forward to in the upcoming school year. So, Coach Lee, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Nice pun.
Got that?
Yeah, I got that. Thanks. Very good. High school football this year, varsity team finished 6-4. JV team finished 1-5. JV, we beat Sullivan and got beat by Arcola twice in an odd situation of scheduling. Clinton, Cumberland, and Argenta. Varsity-wise, again 6-4. Finished 2-3 in the conference, which put us in 4th place out of 6. We lost to the tri-champions, Arcola, LSA, and Argenta, and we beat Cerro Gordo and Arthur. Qualified though for the playoffs for the 7th time in 13 years, and lost our first round game at Bismarck Henning. I don't remember the score, but neither here nor there. Had 44 kids finish the year with me, which is the most I've had. It's the first time I've finished above 40 kids, I believe, since 2007. We had at least 10 kids in every grade, which was nice. It made practice really good this year, where we actually had mainly a freshman sophomore group on one end of the practice field and the junior senior group on the other. Graduate 12 seniors, that all of them have been a big part of what we did this year. 9 of them have been 4-year players for me, so they've had I've had a good run with those 9 individuals in particular. And then one of the other 3 was a first-year kid, and the other 2 were 3-year kids. So I mean, I had 11 of 12 seniors that were with me for 3 years. We're going to lose a lot of experience, a lot of good quality young men there that'll graduate this spring. As far as coming back, JFL's tough to predict exactly how many we're going to replace. Sometimes you'll get them all, sometimes you get some of them. So if we can, from what I know of the whatever that would be, 32 kids returning, nobody gave me any indication they wouldn't be back next year. And so if we can add at least 12 or something close to that, I would expect to have hopefully between 40 and 45 again for next year. Of that group, co-op wise with Tri-City, ran super smooth again. Again, having Coach Hiley on the staff for the last 3 years has been huge for us. Just transportation wise, their transportation director I was always in very good close communication with, but with Coach Hiley being able to drive the bus now, I mean, there's been virtually no problem, and he handles all of that. So that's just been one thing he's been able to take off my plate, is I really haven't had to deal with communication, transportation-wise with him anymore. So his coaching-wise has been fantastic, but then his communication and driving the practice bus over and getting the kids back and forth has been outstanding. We had 8 kids finish the year with us from Tri-City, which is about normal. I would say somewhere over the last 13 years we've had maybe one year we had as little as maybe 5 or 6 finish. I think one year I had as many as 13 or 14. So I would say 8's about normal for that. I guess individually, kind of highlights, besides making the playoffs, we did have 9 kids, or 9 all-conference spots. Some kids were selected more than once, but that's pretty good for a team that finishes 4th in the conference, because we're battling a lot of selections from Argenta and LSA and Arcola. So to get 9 selections, I thought was very appropriate, especially for those guys. A couple of those were unanimous selections, so we did very well in the all-conference selections as well. I would think that's about all for me, unless anybody has any questions.
What a great job.
Oh.
I would say.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
When you talk with the JFL coaches, do you think that you think they're nervous coming in as freshmen and knowing that there's a good chance that they may have to go up against varsity, because the only way to ever get around that is to start, having a group of 15 freshmen go and stay out, and then have another, back-to-back year like that?
I would say certainly some of that has to be, and maybe even from the kids themselves. Like when they get older, they'll tell me that. If they're, their freshman year, I was, afraid of doing anything or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's your only way to do that is, if you had 20 freshmen and you could just strictly have a freshman only squad. But I have been pleased with our numbers over the last few years, and we are. I mean, when you look at other teams in the conference, Arthur's had to cancel their JV team 2 or 3 of the last years. Cerro Gordo didn't play us this year. LSA didn't play us this year. So between our side of the conference, 6 teams, just us, Argenta, and Arcola fielded a JV team consistently this year. So I know it's been kind of a numbers battle for some other schools as well. But I just think some of them, I wouldn't say the JFL coaches always tell that. Some I just say that maybe they know they're not going to be adequate football players in high school. But until you give that a chance, but I've also had kids that, show up, like I think Seth Manning's a perfect example. He didn't start playing until his junior year, and he just wishes he would have started his freshman year, but he didn't think he'd be able to do it. And so, how do you know until you get out there? And then he was a huge part of what we did last year and this year. So you just never know until you try. But maybe some kids have that, they're a little bit, I don't want to say afraid, but just nervous about getting out there and trying. So I don't know what the perfect answer is. I wish every JFL kid came right on up. So, but if I figure out that magic formula, I will be the first to let you know. I can tell you that.
And out of the 6 conference teams, there was a 3-way tie for first?
3-way tie for first.
Wow,
Yeah, they all had one loss. It was I don't remember. Let's see, Argenta.
They all lose to each other?
Yeah, they all lost to each other. I can't remember who beat who now. And I actually don't know if they actually settled what they won. Like our all-conference meeting was at LSA. I don't know in the bylaws if there is a method of figuring out a 3-way tie for an actual real champion or not. Obviously, if it's a 2-way tie, it's the head-to-head game. But when you have a 3-way, I don't think they go down to points allowed or whatever. But yeah, those 3 schools, I think, were all just a little bit better than we were and pretty evenly matched amongst them. So, but it is.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Michael.
Yep.
Now, just to see.
All right. We finished the season 21-9. We were 3rd in the LMBC all outplay. We finished 5-2. The conference tournament that we have that includes the other side, we were 3rd. We ended up beating Cumberland for the 3rd place championship over there. We placed 5th at the Eisenhower tournament, which doesn't sound like it's great, but we also play against Mattoon and Chatham Glenwood and Eisenhower and MacArthur, so I thought the girls did very well there. We got 2nd place over at the Blue Ridge tournament. I ended up with 21 girls this season, probably the lowest it's been for a while. We had a lot of numbers this summer, and then for whatever reason, the freshman girls decided it was too much of a commitment. They were going to focus on school, some other things. I have talked to some of them. They're planning on, some of them actually are helping out the middle school now when they can in the weight room, so hopefully they'll be back because I think some of them do have a lot of talent. Losing 4 seniors, 3 of them played quite a bit. Lots of juniors, lots of sophomores coming back. We won 21 games. A lot of the kids that actually played this year, this was the first year they even had a varsity uniform, so I was very pleased with that. They tried their best, tried hard. We have 12 Sangamon Valley kids, 9 kids from Tri-City. So we're hoping to up the numbers a little bit. I'm hoping to up the numbers a little bit because that's kind of low from where we've been in the past. I don't know if it's just a freshman group that decided they wanted to kind of come in and get their feet wet, decided not to play. I don't know. So that's something I'm hoping to kind of talk to some kids and get some more kids back out that need to be out. Thanks for doing Michael, I guess.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you to both of you for coming, and that's something I'd like to do at the end of our season, have the coaches come and talk. And I think we're fortunate, I think we have really good coaches here, and not only are they good coaches, but they're really great people as well, and good teachers, and enjoy being here and love the kids, and that's important. So thank you. Mrs. Cowan.
Hello. Thank you for letting me bump to December from November. I'm sorry I couldn't be here a little bit earlier. I gave you guys two different things tonight before the meeting started. The first one I'm going to talk about is the greenhouse proposal. This is just basically an outline as of where I want to go, where we're at, and a brief overview of the finances. So basically, after talking to Mr. Meadows, kind of what we're looking at for the greenhouses, we're looking at a 20-foot 10-inch by 27 feet greenhouse. If you look at the back page of your proposal, that is kind of a picture of what it's going to look like, so nice and pretty. We won't have the glass that's shown with glass. We would have polycarbonate panels, as I discussed with you guys. I believe that was a September board meeting. And we're looking at putting it where the concession stand is, located in that area. That way we have a little bit less utilities to run. It's a safe place. It's located off the street, but with easy access from the school, and specifically from the ag department. So that's kind of an update as far as location that we are looking at there. I did get quotes for that specific greenhouse that is pictured in your proposal, and everything that was included in that quote is included in the expenses that I have kind of outlined for you there. So roughly that quote was just under $60,000 just for the greenhouse structure. And so we don't have all of the, I guess, the quotes for the excavating, concrete, plumbing, all that type of stuff quite yet, because we're still looking at getting funding to get this project started, to where, you know, we can get as much of this project funded through grants and other outside sources as possible. So with that, I'll move on to the sources of funding section. And the first thing that we have, and some of you might have an updated back page, I got something printed out, and some of them I didn't, but Mr. Flexter, our transportation director, actually donated a quarter of a beef to this greenhouse project. And so we raffled off tickets throughout the month of November, pretty much. One ticket for $10, 3 tickets for $20, and we raised $2,300, $22,300, and roughly $70 towards the greenhouse proposal. And so that was kind of our first step in getting funding for that. I was shooting for a $2,000 goal, so I was actually very happy that we went over that. It was something that we kind of turned into a class competition within the ag department. I had kids who aren't FFA members who just wanted to help out because they think the greenhouse is a really cool thing, selling tickets. So thank you to those of you that actually bought tickets for that. Our winner was Stacy Campbell, and she's actually getting her quarter beef tomorrow at school. So she's pretty excited about that. So that was kind of our first step there, and I'm looking at using that roughly $2,300 to put towards this incentive improving your ag program grant that I gave to you guys in a packet second. And that's the grant that I talked to you guys about in September. It would be a $10,000 grant coming in, but in order to apply for the grant, we have to have a 50% match. So I have $2,370 to go towards that 50% match. I can go ahead and submit this application as you guys have in front of you. But I would be seeking funding from the school to cover the other, what is that, 25, yeah, roughly $2,600, so that we can go ahead and make sure that we do have that certified 50% match, and that they would then award us that $10,000 if we were granted that. So basically, it's no money out of your pocket unless we're actually awarded the grant, and that is a $10,000 grant, which means we would then have their $10,000 and then the $5,000 in supporting funds. So we'd have $15,000 going forward towards this greenhouse proposal. Other sources of funding that I have identified that I can't apply for until after the first of the year is I've worked with Monsanto, or talked to Monsanto, and they have site grants that I can apply for. That period starts January 1st. So I'll be looking into some of those coming back from Christmas break. There's also a lady that I'm working with at Brent who is talking back and forth to their Springfield office to get us some funding as well. She just checked in with me last week actually to make sure that we're still trying to move forward with this project. And so they're looking at giving us some support as well through that. There is First Farm credit grants that I'm looking at, which, I mean, they're smaller, they're like $500, but every little bit helps with a big project like this. So I'm looking at some of those sources of funding as well. Prairie Land FS, they have a grant program that they do every February. It's right around National Open Day Week. That's $5,000, and I have been in contact with Emily Pack, who's in charge of that grant program, and who has strongly encouraged us to apply for that grant, as well as saying in her email back that if we don't get that, they might be willing to work with us outside of using that grant funding, depending on what our funding situation looks like for the project. So I have some good sources that we are working with. A lot of people are, you know, in coordination with this project. They want to see it succeed. So depending on what grants we can get, what funding we can get, my goal is to hopefully have this accomplished for the start of the next school year, where the kids can go ahead and get out in that greenhouse and start working, and we can start building up the ag program and the record books for kids to start getting their state degrees and going through and, you know, working at the school here to earn maybe a little bit of cash and get that whole side of things going there. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Does anybody have any questions for me?
My amount wasn't updated. What'd you say on the quarter beef? 2370.
70.
Okay.
Well, our amount was 2630.
Yes. And that's how I have it outlined in this grant. So, January 9th, I think is what January 6th is when the project has, or the grant has to be submitted by. So I would have just a couple of days after we get back from Christmas break, or if you guys are comfortable signing off on it, I just need a signature and I can mail it tomorrow. So it just kind of depends on what you want to do. But again, like I said, that would be $2630 in support, and we could get up to $10,000.
Well, I think for the sake of this meeting, we could go around the table, get a verbal commitment, and then we'll do a vote in January since it's not on the agenda. And then that way you can proceed with it before school's out.
That's wonderful.
Okay? Brad?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes for me?
Yep. Absolutely. One question.
Yes.
If you're awarded the grant for $10,000, is there a timeline that it must be utilized or you lose it?
The money from the grant has to be used by June. Final reports are due June 9th. And so basically, what they say is they will award us the money, and we just have to say how we are using that money and actively show that we are proceeding in the project.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
I have done a little bit of research. Tree removal is going to be about $4,400. They're going to have to remove 3 trees. That does not include digging out the stumps. That would probably fall on to whoever we would look at. I'm going to start working on, after I get the science lab project squared away, I'll start working on the excavating and concrete work. But I think those stumps would have to be dug out to make sure that our concrete has a nice, good footing. And then I'm also waiting on the village. They met with me the other day, and we walked out and kind of figured out a path that we want to go with. The building has to have a drain in it. So we're going to tie in to the sewer out here in front of the building.
Interesting to see what you run into with the roots of those trees when you get down digging.
They're gonna be-
The actual site.
Be big, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I hate to cut down trees, but that's a perfect location for it, with all the south sun that we get.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions? So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as corrected.
So moved.
Motion made by Leonard Williams. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mike Oakley. Call roll, please.
Guerrero,
Yes?
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola.
Yes.
And superintendent's report.
I have 2 items. First, the science lab update. we're moving right along with it. It's really starting to look like a science lab finally. A lot of the cabinetry is going in. These laptops are in place, and then they're starting to fix the seams. The flooring's going in. Probably my biggest concern right now, we've had some issues with the windows. When we had to redo the lintels, then we had to refigure the actual windows. And the subcontractor that Johnco hired has had some difficulty with some credit, and they were the ones that they put in for the bid to the company for the windows. The company said, no, we're not going to work with you anymore. So our architects have been working with them, assuring them that the window manufacturer, that we will have the money in. So that's been taken care of. It's now just a matter of actually getting them in place. But overall, the flooring is getting ready to go in, and electrical, HVAC, the ceiling, all of that work has been done. And I was hoping to get in there and take some pictures over the last couple of days. But
So this is a subcontractor that had the credit problems?
Mhm.
Didn't they require bonds from those people?
Mhm.
Interesting. And they still use it to get a bond.
I haven't been overly impressed with Johnco. It just seems like every time we turn around, there's just some other issue that we're dealing with. But Joe Marco from BLDD, he's been on the guys, and he's kind of been making sure that they stay on task and on time. And
So with the window delay, do you think we will delay the start of the using that when we get back?
I think we'll be able to get in there. It'll probably be the second week, because once they get in and once we go through it and do the final walkthrough, then we'll have to move furniture in. And so it will probably be that second week, as long as
They come in?
the windows are in.
Okay.
I'll try to get a hold of Joe Marco tomorrow, and I'll send you guys an email if we're still having issues with the windows. So that's it pretty much for the science lab. The second thing I have is the gym roof. We have another leak that's back towards the east side of the gym, and it's on the east side. It's in that valley, oddly enough, where everybody's been walking, putting in the HVAC systems on the outside of the building. That is going to have to be taken care of. I think if we get a day that's over 50 degrees and not raining, we can do the work. Bruce and I can do the work ourselves, and save some money there. It's kind of hard to pinpoint who actually caused the leak, with everybody kind of going in and out of there. So again, it's difficult to point a finger at somebody, but they want to say that it's coming from a different location up in the roof and coming down, and I disagree with that. It's right, the leak's right under where they step in and out through the windows. So, but eventually, and once the science lab's over, we're going to probably need to look at doing a complete replacement job of that. And we're looking at it anywhere from probably $150,000 to $300,000, depending on what type of roof you want to put on there. But it's something that's going to have to be done.
Okay.
So that's kind of the update on that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, curriculum director's report.
For this month, pretty much I've given you guys a handout here, and I've worked with the math department in generating this document to just kind of show you an outline of what our math progression currently looks like at the high school. Classes that we have offered, a breakdown of staff responsible for that, and then also within that, what we're missing. And what would be beneficial for us to, I think, and the math teachers seem to think, would be good additions. Right now, we basically have one full-time math teacher. And that person is Miss Allen, who's responsible for geometry concepts, algebra 2, pre-calculus, advanced math, which is a pretty hefty load for somebody. And then you have Mr. Quimby, who teaches all our algebra and algebra AB classes, but is also responsible for 2 periods of government throughout the day. And then, of course, Mrs. Schrader teaches 1 section of calculus a day. So we're kind of piecemealed together in terms of what we got. And, I think you've noticed our math scores and stuff over the last few years. And some of the offerings that we have in terms of electives and interventions, which are really non-existent in our math program. And I think that's something that would be beneficial for us to look at. What I'm going to ask you to allow us to investigate is hiring another full-time math teacher in order to kind of take some of that and do things right. Not that we're doing anything wrong now, but we're just shorthanded. I mean, just quite honest. A lot of interventions that you'll see in place, a lot of places that you're able to give a lot more support to students, we just don't have. We don't have the manpower in order to do it. We've got teachers that are working a lot outside of their hours of the day, before school, after school, during their prep, during their lunch, to help kids get where they need to be. And that's something that we don't think about a lot of times when we up our rigor and we up the difficulty with which we're teaching. We also have to increase that support at that point as well. So that would be something for sure that would be able to be added into the schedule more easily by doing that, giving us a little more flexibility, as would we could see some electives go in, maybe in terms of, we've got the Math 098 right now, which is pretty much it, and that's that senior level course that we do through Richland. As a remediation course, it's a 4th year math before you go into college, so that you're not taking that year off math. But we've talked about possibly adding in a statistics class, which, you could take as a math elective, or, you need that if you're going to the medical field. A lot of times before you go into college, you're gonna have to take something like that. We've also talked about the possibility of adding in maybe an integrated algebra 2, which would be kind of a step in between that geometry and that algebra 2, as more of a developmental course to strengthen those algebra skills for one, and also to kind of build that bridge to the algebra 2 for a student to take that later, or to take that in lieu, of taking algebra 2 and then doing their Math 098 on top of that. So just to kind of to strengthen those bases that they would already have. We've got a few other ideas on there, but really that would come down with other electives too, on just us making choices on what we would do. But the biggest thing for me, I think, and for the teachers, as we were looking at possibilities and looking at our new curriculum and stuff, would be just having somebody to maybe come in and we would look at maybe them teaching geometry, maybe section of algebra 2 or something like that, doing some of these interventions or possible electives as well. So a little more detail here with the breakdowns within this document that I've given you for you to look at, but that's just kind of our proposal right now. And I know Mr. Meadows and I have talked about, we would like to really get out early and start looking like in January and post the job early, if you guys would allow us to do that, so that we can try to find somebody, because it's also very tough to find a math person. And they're going to go early, those who are out there. So I think we had 3 or 4 last year when we had the position open, and they were all snatched up fairly quickly. So we definitely like to get going quickly on that. So
I think if you look at, right now, we're sitting at basically 1 7/8 math teachers in the high school, and we have currently 3 language arts teachers. We've always had that, and that seems like when we've looked at ACT and Park, that's always been one of our strong areas. And we've not, we've been undermanned, and we haven't had the manpower to do some of the things that we need to do in math. And another thing that I think we need to consider is that Pat Schrader is not going to continue to do this forever. And if we could bring somebody in early and allow them to work with Pat and learn from her, and I think it's just a fantastic opportunity that otherwise will be wasted if we don't. And not to look ahead and to plan for that is really irresponsible. So
I agree with that. We're here to educate kids. That's what we need to do. We need to do it.
I think if we want to see improvement, we're going to have to put some money there.
Mm-hmm. We put it in science, we might want to put it in math as well.
We have a great staff at the high school right now. I think it's as strong as it's ever been, and I think that's just one last piece of the puzzle that I think we can really start seeing some improvement in our scores.
And you look at math too, I mean, math, you know, in comparison, like your English class, you only have the 3 full-time English people, that 4 years of, English required. In the state of Illinois, we have 3 years required of math, at least in algebra and geometry, so, for us to be kind of working.
Is this gonna be on the agenda as a motion for the next meeting?
Yeah, what do you need to do? We give approval for something, or?
Pull the board again, see if everybody's on board with it?
I think to open up a position, it really would not take board action. It would just be a matter of saying, yeah, this is what we want to do, and this is the direction that we need to go.
What's the projected cost for another teacher?
A new teacher right now would probably be right around 46.
Depends on education level.
Yeah.
Well, you want a good one, so you're gonna need a highly educated math teacher to find one.
Well, that's going to be a.
That's benefits and everything.
Well, I've long since complained about the math department, so you're not gonna get a no out of me. So I guess we'll go around the board and see if we think it's okay to post and look.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
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 There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Old business. Oh, I'm sorry, Jonathan, were you done, or am I moving on
Yeah,
before
no,
you?
that's great, thank you.
Okay. So joint annual conference is under old business. We attended last month. There was a synopsis sent out to you guys. Not gonna go through it tonight. I realize it's December and everybody wants to go home, but there's a few cost savings things in there of some of the things that I attended alone that I think we can do, one of which is going, after this new election, going to all digital for, cut out some of this postage and paper and that kind of thing. I realize it's a small step, but a lot of people did it. And the other thing, I don't know, I know you guys do direct deposit, but they had, the school that had talked had completely done away with, they don't even mail check stubs or hand them out to the teachers. Everything's done online. If you want to print your check stub, you can. If not, save it to your computer or whatever. So just other ways that they had found some cost savings across the board. So basically, and then of course you guys all got the report about all the different things that we attended. So in the future, I'd like to look to some of those cost savings measures. Okay. And then we have to, do you want to give a synopsis of this, or would you like me to?
Well, I can. Back on November 18, 2015, it was determined that the board violated the Open Meetings Act. Back in May, we were issued a non-binding opinion to release those. They recommended that we release the minutes. Since that time, I think we've spent about $3,700 in attorney fees to try to keep those closed. I would say at this point, I think we just need to go ahead and release it and not spend any more resources or time worrying about that. So, and basically what that would be, it's a recording of our verbatim recording from that night, from approximately the 8th minute to the 50th minute.
Okay.
And if somebody came in and said, I would like to have that, then I would make them a cassette recording and hand it over.
50th or 60th minute?
It's like 59th or something, I think. 59 point whatever is what it is. I guess my only comment is I came in and listened to it again. Yes, we did get off topic. Every single person here did. None of which I have a problem with releasing. It causes me concern for future people to come forward and say, I want this release or I want that release, and if it's student or faculty content, that causes me concern, but not setting a precedent, but.
Well, I don't think we are. I think for those to be released, if somebody feels like we violated, they have to go through the steps and the procedures, and if it comes back and they believe that we did, then we'll address it at that point, but it's really not setting a precedent as far as I'm concerned. I think our attorney feels the same way.
Okay. All right, then I need a motion to release the November 18th, 2015 closed session verbatim recording from the 8th minute to approximately the 60th minute of the recording per the request of the Public Access Bureau.
So moved.
Motion made by Martha Leeper, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Jeff Stahl, call roll please.
Just a minute. Leeper, yes. Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes. And new business.
Looking at the 10-year health, life, safety report for the Illiopolis campus, there was about $190,000 was the estimate of work that would need to be done over the course of basically the next 6 or 7 years. I think we can, one of the main items, the telescopic bleachers and the 1926-27 edition did not pass, and they're recommending that those be replaced, and it was a bid for roughly $60,000 was the estimate, and I don't think that we need to invest $60,000 into that gym. I think that we remove the bleachers and we do it ourselves, and then we maybe look at doing one side of just permanent bleachers. We have the Farrell Flat Tournament in there, which is a fundraiser. And that's really probably, other than the PE classes that are in there, that would be the only time that we really have fans in there per se, and it's not, it's never really packed in there. I worked the tournament a few years back, and so I think one permanent side bleachers like could satisfy our needs in there and save us a considerable amount of money.
This is K-PAC.
That is in the old gym.
You're talking the west side bleachers.
Right. Do the west side bleachers, the east side you could do for the teams, we could set up chairs and set up a table over there. That's where the scores table usually is, that's where the clock and all of that hookup comes in, so it would be best to do the west side. And
Do we still have the old scores table from the high school that could be taken down there?
Yes.
Okay. Just a thought.
Does that also include the, where they put in the new doors? Wasn't that like a $32,000?
what they did was, instead of trying to make an adjustment to those, they recommended putting another egress set of doors, which would be on the north wall, just a little bit down closer to the gym. And I think they put that in as $5,000, and I handed that to Joe Marco, and I said, I don't know if you can buy a set of double doors for $5,000. This seems pretty low to me. And he said, yeah, I agree with that. And he says probably going to be closer to a $10,000 fix. It's either that or we could take those doors back out. But I think after we made the commitment for the safety aspect of those, that it would make more sense to put another set of egress doors in there.
Are you gonna have to have sidewalk down to those doors too?
Yeah, we'll have to have, or just a small walk.
So are they gonna pick up any of that since they put the doors in?
No.
No.
They designed the safety doors, but they don't feel like it's their responsibility to fix that, so. To me, it just makes more sense to put the extra set of egress doors in and leave the security doors in place, so. Mr. Bridwell, do you object to that? Do you think
No.
that's probably the best?
Craziness. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it, that when you have a cafeteria full of kids, all of the doors open into the cafeteria from the gym and from that hallway. The only ones that go out, of course, would be the outer doors, so that's a problem.
Okay. So then we need a motion to approve the 2016 10-year health, life, safety survey for the Illiopolis campus. Motion made by Mike Staub, is there a second?
Second?
Mike Oakley, call roll please.
Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes.
Sorry, I was busy writing. All right. And at this point, we have to consider a petition from Michael Oakley seeking the detachment of 6 properties in Sangamon Valley. Property owners include Michael and Michelle Oakley, Glenn and Edith Bunning, Lee and Jennifer Sharp, Kenneth and Bev Waller, John and Janice Rhodes, and Greg Hutchins.
And I think really what the board has to decide is, right now, we just have to decide whether you want to contest the detachment or not. If you decide that that's what you want to do, then it falls back into the hands of the county board, and they'll make the determination.
Okay. So then I just have a couple of questions. Earlier in the year, you had approached the ROE about detaching all of Harristown.
Yes.
And now you're going to detach just your property and apparently 5 others, whatever it is. So in a previous meeting, you were passing around a paper with the Warrensburg Landfill tax rate at 3.89. Is that correct?
I do not know what's left since then.
That's the paper that's attached to the
Okay.
document.
Well, I just wanted to point out that that's not the correct tax rate for Warrensburg Latham. I pay Warrensburg taxes, and I've asked 3 to 4 other homeowners to provide me with their tax bills, and I have that here for you also. It's 4.62 within all of the townships except Austin Township. Austin Township is 3.89. It's the old school section, and it's at a lower rate because of that. It's primarily farm ground. So I guess I have a little bit of concern. I did also call Steve Bean just to verify what I was seeing was correct, what I was paying was correct. He did indicate that that was correct and indicated if you wanted to call him and verify. He indeed wanted you to because he wanted accurate information out in the public. And then I guess just for the rest of you, in my opinion, this shouldn't be considered. It's just another measure to try to divide the district. It'll take tax dollars away from us, potentially more of a tax burden on the rest of us. And I think there's other options. You know, we all have the same options in life. We can sell our homes, we can pay tuition to private school, we can pay tuition to Warrensburg or whatever school we choose to. And again, I just feel like a vote to approve it is just a vote against our district and our community members.
Well,
That's
if that
mine.
being said, I'll make the motion to contest the petition.
Okay, motion made by Leonard Williams, is there a second?
I second.
Sorry, Mike Staub. And call roll, please.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Oakley,
Abstain.
Okay.
I have to, on letterhead, put that the board has agreed to contest the petition, and I will do that tomorrow and get that sent to the ROE.
Is there a signature needed or anything? Well,
No.
all right. So then moving on, we have consider allowing the Village of Harristown to use SVEE campus for a town hall meeting on January 5th, 2017.
Yeah, they sent me a letter. They're having, I think, some water issues, and they want to be able to discuss that with the public, some different options that would be available to the Village of Harristown. I would recommend that we allow them to use that.
Okay, is there a motion to allow the Village of Harristown to use the campus?
I'll move.
Mike Staub, seconded by
Second.
Mike Oakley. Roll, please.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes, Oakley,
Yes.
Staub.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Next, we have 3 co-ops that are expiring at the end of the school year, and I think it's the board needs to decide whether they want to continue with this or not. The sports are girls basketball, which Tri-City is the host school, boys track and girls track, which we are the host school, and then also Meridian has requested that they're very interested in bringing our kids back for boys and girls soccer, with Meridian being the host school. So those are the 3 co-ops that are up right now.
Okay.
and need consideration.
Does anybody have any questions before we go into the motions?
How many players did we have in the girls' basketball team?
Do you know where we are, Coach Myers?
Like 20-ish,
20 total.
20 total, yeah.
How many SB and how many TC?
Probably
All but six.
14 or 15.
All but six are from six are from TC, the rest are from SP.
So we have 6 TC and then we have 14 SB.
And that's 9 through 12, not just 12.
That bounces around sometime between 50-50 and that number either direction.
Yep.
Usually, right?
Like next year to be a low year for us because we only have one 8th grader going to the high school who plays basketball, and they have a
That
full
you know
8th grade
of.
team. So
That you know of at this time?
there's only ever been one 8th grader that's ever played that's through now.
I
I
guess
guess
my,
the others, they could.
Yeah.
Sure, could go out.
Change your
My
mind.
concern that I kind of relate to Stephanie is this $100 per sport that we're paying. I want to vote for the co-ops just for that until we get that situated. I'm not paying $100 for my kid to go down and play in jerseys that are 6 or 7 years old and gets a hat. We supply the pants, and that's, I'm sorry, but I can't do that.
And that's
We're not,
for baseball.
that's baseball. We have to supply our own baseball pants and one jersey. It's a same blue jersey for home and away games. I think softball gets a home and away jersey and pants. And I mean, I'm not gonna vote for it just because. And I also have questions on where they're going in the future. Are they going west or not? And I don't know. I have heard rumors from some of their board members that they approach Riverton. I've heard Riverton approach them. And I need concrete evidence that, I love the co-ops, don't get me wrong. I think the girls do. I just worry right now.
I've been in office in Riverton 20 years, I've not heard.
Yeah, I haven't either, and it might be just smoke, and I don't think Tri-City would vote for it anyway.
I've got Riverton educators, I'm sure.
Right, but I just think until we get this $100 sport, we got girls that are paying $250 to play a sport, and that's ridiculous that we have to pay $100 per sport to go down there and play.
I'd like to set up a committee to address these issues and also look at other schools, because I think Meridian, our soccer players are paying, what, 50?
I honestly don't know what they pay, is it 50?
And then, I know Warrensburg pays 50, but I don't think they have a family cap where Tri-City has a cap. So,
Is that 260?
I think
Is
it's
that where the,
250 or 260, I think it's.
260 was the original amount I heard last year. I don't know what it is now, but I think, we talked about this last year. My hesitation with,
and
I
we were
guess,
supposed to talk with them last year, and we never did.
yeah, we needed to maybe broach this athletic fee before this evening. I do agree, it's not fair. I also think that was one of the recaps, if you read my thing. I don't think we charge enough. The kids in our district that are using these services should be paying for these services and not necessarily Joe homeowner who doesn't have any kids. So I think our athletic fee needs to be raised, not necessarily from 50 or 45 or whatever it is to 100 directly. One of the parents down there mentioned to me, I don't even understand why you guys don't charge us exactly what we charge you and, charge your kids whatever you want. So to me, that doesn't seem fair, but it did come straight out of a Tri-City parent's mouth. So,
and I guess my concern would be that right now our free and reduced kids aren't required to pay that fee. So, it's not always, dollar for dollar, kid for kid. I'm also concerned that if we raise our fees up, are we going to lose kids
that just won't
from our numbers
participate.
that just won't participate at all?
We'll go find something else to do.
So, Josh, all three of these co-ops are going pretty smooth, aren't they? Actually, outside of the feed business.
Yes, yeah, those
They've smoothed out really well with your Tracy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
That's the track.
Well, can't we approve these and then talk about the fees with them?
No.
I'm not asking you, I'm asking them.
I think that we can ask for that, but what if they say no?
Well,
So then are we going to, the thing is about co-ops is, yeah, you can go around and ask other schools and that's fine, but they also have to show interest in us, and at this point,
Somebody
No
has
one's-
to reach the olive branch first.
well,
When's the last time we approached other schools?
about 4 years ago.
I don't know if
Because
it's,
I've been on the board going on 4 years, and I've asked for this to at least, at the bare minimum, form a committee and go around and see what's offered. And it's just a blind eye, let's approve it now, and we'll look,
you
pass
guys
this
are
off
the
later.
board, you can do whatever you want.
I don't think any, I've talked to their parents from other schools, they don't wanna co-op with us. They want certain players, but they don't wanna co-op with us. And you ain't gonna get that. Because like I said before in a meeting, we go with Warrensburg, they bumped up to 3A. You go to Meridian, they're bumped up to 3A. They can't do that. Tri-City's about the only one we can bump with, that we stay at the 2A, 1A district.
Well, and I guess the part that, again, that I have a problem with the $100 fee is that, yeah, Mike has come in and voiced his opinion about Stephanie's said, yeah, I don't care for it, but the people that are actually participating in the sports have not come to me and said, this is outrageous and ridiculous.
Well,
I'm not saying if you
I've got
come-
2 daughters that, the way they keep getting renewed, and you wanna keep me here, that are gonna be at the high school level eventually, and I'm telling you it's ridiculous, and I wanna see a committee form and look what's out there and say, hey, we don't like these fees, we're not charging them for our parents, we're thinking it's hurting the program, because some kids aren't gonna pay those.
I mean, I'm gonna retract kind of what I said. I will probably vote for these because I have faith in the co-ops, I really do. We need to really, by next meeting, sit down with them and say, this is the deal. I mean, especially, come on, one jersey, I mean, it's 6, 7, I mean, Jimmy, he's gone from this
Is
to
it an issue
this.
of the money then, or what you're getting for the money?
Well, what I'm getting for the money, I guess, you know, if I have to provide pants and, you know, every catcher's equipment for my kid to catch, which a team should provide, I think, hey, $100 is,
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What's the timetable to approve these? Because I would table these for a month and ask that, I don't know if you want to put together a committee of 2 or 3 and meet with them, and maybe we have to meet in the middle. Maybe we come up to 75, they come down to
But
75.
Martha, Bob just said that the kids are participating, the parents of those children, no one said a word about the fees.
I know.
The only time you
I
ever hear
don't,
this stuff
the only
is-
thing I don't like, and I didn't have a girl that played a Tri-City sport. So I just had, and a boy, we weren't co-oping with baseball yet, so I didn't involve that. But it doesn't seem right to me that we have 2 different fees. I mean, I think, I don't know why, and I don't have to have the history, someone can tell me later. When the co-ops were formed, why wasn't it just an across-the-board fee at that
I
time?
believe it was, and they raised it, am I?
They raised it, what was it, a year ago?
And didn't discuss it with us either, they just raised it. Didn't ask for input, didn't come to us and say, hey, you know, what do you think about this? They just raised it on their side.
Well, and I'm gonna disagree a little bit on the silent voice scenario, because, you know, we have the same discussion at home about, okay, we got 3 kids that are obviously always involved in sports, and, you know, that's a pretty significant amount for us to overpay the cap every year for the next 4 years, so, and obviously, we just saw a major election that didn't quite go what everybody thought it was going to, so just because people aren't speaking up doesn't mean it's not an issue. So,
Well, I would encourage those parents that believe that it is an issue, that they need to, either need to contact me or a board member and say this is a problem and we need to do something about it.
Well, while I was sitting in the stands, I had one parent say, how'd you like that 30-minute drive? And we've got 16 players this year where they only had, we had 14 players, they only had 6. I'd like to see us be the homeschool for 2 years.
Well,
But it has to be equal, and we are equal right now. We
and
go back and
it can't
forth.
bounce back and forth between,
because then you
One
bounce
school
back
for
from
2
conference
years,
to
then-
conference, you can't do that.
And uniforms and.
So they're not in the same conferences this season.
Exactly. Been saying that for 4 years.
They're in the MSM.
I just want the
I just have,
Tri-City Board passed the co-ops 6-0. If you want to table it, then you have every right to do that, you're the board.
Well, I'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion to table it until next month's meeting, until the president can form a committee we can sit down and hammer this stuff
I
out.
think you spoke over Leonard. If I'm
Yeah.
the
Well,
secretary and the
he's trying to get his
parliamentarian, she
proposal in
was,
there, and I'm trying to get mine in there.
well, you can wait.
I will make the motion to approve renewal of the high school girls basketball co-op at Tri-City as a host school for the 17-18, 18-19 school years.
So is there a second?
I'll second.
Call roll, please.
Wait a minute, who seconded?
Jeff Stahl?
Jeff Stahl. Okay, Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
No.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
Okay, so then a motion to approve the renewal of the high school boys and girls track co-op with Tri-City.
So moved.
So Stahl and Staub. First for Stahl, second for Staub.
Okay, Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
No.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion to approve the renewal of high school boys and girls soccer co-op with Meridian as the host school for the 17-18.
Now, that's going very well too, hasn't it?
I would like to have some discussion on that.
I got a question here,
Okay.
so quit talking over me. How's that going?
It's going great.
I thought so. I've heard a lot of positive feedback.
Yes, they've been really good at Meridian, just as long as, as well as Tri-City as well, going back and forth with busing. Haven't had any problems.
How many boys and girls?
Ooh. Oh man, I thought we had this year like 6, maybe 10. Yeah, I think it was like 10 and 10, I want to say, 10 of theirs and 10 of ours, I think. I could be wrong on the numbers.
Was that for the girls?
That was for the boys, and we did have a couple seniors, so hopefully I think there was a couple freshmen that went out as well. So hopefully we have some more kids going out, but I have heard nothing but positive stuff from Meridian. Their coach loves it, and everybody, all the kids are liking it going over there, so for both boys and girls, it's been really good.
So you had 10 boys. That was telling me.
I think it was 7 and 10 maybe.
Okay, something along those lines. It was around 7 to 10. I can't, I have to look at, I have it up in my office.
Okay, just curious. Sounds good. Glad to hear it.
Okay, Michael?
My question was answered.
Okay. So motion to approve the renewal of high school boys and girls soccer co-op with Meridian as the host school for the 17-18, 18-19 school years.
So moved.
Made by Leonard Williams, is there a second?
Second.
Brad Santola? Call roll, please.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola.
Yes.
And I guess I still would like to further a conversation with them. If you're in agreement to that, I would like to
I'd like to see that too.
have a discussion, definitely over costs and see where we can come up, because if we need to raise ours prior to these going into effect, I think it's something we need to look at. Again, even if
Well, we
it's
can look
raised
to raise all
just
of
for
our athletic
theirs.
fees for the next school year, if that's what the board wants to do.
Well, if we're gonna do that, I think just let's survey the surrounding districts once again and see what everybody's paying. And see where we fall.
Do
That
you
makes the
know?
most sense to me.
Josh, do you have any idea?
It was one for like 50,
I'm not positive.
and I know Meridian's 50.
Per sport
sport.
though?
Yes. I will double check on all those. I can email.
I'm pretty certain we'll find that no one pays a flat
50 a
fee
year.
of anything and allowed to play as many sports as they want. I'm pretty certain of that.
And when you have that meeting, I'd like to be made aware of when it's going to happen.
Okay. And anything else before we go into closed session? So I need a motion to enter closed session for the reasons stated on the agenda.
So moved.
Martha, I have 6:59. Motion made by Leonard Williams, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mike Staub, call roll please.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
So moved.
Motion made by Leonard, is there a second?
Second.
Brad Santola, call roll please.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams.
Who's second? I didn't catch it again.
Brad.
Brad did.
Motion,
Leonard, did you vote?
Yes.
I called roll, I didn't hear
I'm
that,
sorry.
okay.
motion to employ Amy Steiner as Sangamon Valley East Elementary Library aide.
I move.
Motion made by Mike Staub, is there a second?
A second.
By Martha Leeper, call roll please.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola.
Yes.
Motion to accept the resignation of Misty Peters as Sangamon Valley East Elementary Library aide.
So moved.
Moved by Jeff Stahl, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mike Staub, call roll please.
Leeper, yes. Oakley,
With regret, yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes. Motion to accept the FMLA request of Heather Vaughn effective November 14th, 2016.
I'll move.
Motion made by Mike Staub, is there a second?
Second.
Brad Santola, call roll please.
Oakley,
Yes.
Staub,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Centola,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Leeper, yes.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Can I ask a question? In one of your correspondence there, Mr. Meadows, you talked about the guttering that I've been trying to get fixed for 3 months. We're gonna reinstall the old guttering.
Yeah, well, I think we can reuse the brackets and the actual guttering itself doesn't seem to be damaged too badly, so
But it is damaged.
I think it's just a matter of getting it loose and just straightening it a little bit. I don't think it's twisted so badly that it can't be straightened and reused.
It's pretty heavy gauge stuff. It should take the stress of straightening it up. shouldn't it?
Yeah, I just can't, like I said, I can't see paying a company $3,800 to come in and fix a 10-foot section of gutter. If we do end up having to do something with the roof, more than likely all of that is going to have to come down. And I think we can get it straightened and get us by. And, you know, I think that if and when we do repair the gym roof, that section of gutter, that we hire somebody to put 6-inch gutter up there, do a seamless, cover it to keep the, you know, leaves and branches and all that stuff out of there. I think we could do that much cheaper, put a little bit of fall. Right now, those gutters almost set level, and the water gets in and they just set and they just hold it. I think if we get some pitch at all on the gutter itself, that a 6-inch will do just fine, and it'll be cheaper. And if we ever have to have work done to it again, somebody can actually come out and fix it. But what's currently up there, we would have to hire somebody that would bring in the metal and the rake, and we have a lift coming in on the 27th, and we're gonna do it.
Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Jeff Stahl, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Leonard Williams, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Get 708.
Motion passes. I had 9.
Whatever you want to say.